The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters radio show was originally broadcast on November 16, 2021.
Aloha and welcome Maui to the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters radio show, sponsored by Mokulele Airlines. I'm your host, Pamela Timpop, president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and today we're going to hear from Senate President Kochi on top priorities in the coming legislative session, key economic drivers that the state can pursue to benefit us all, and most valuable lessons learned during COVID. We're going to hear about MEO's Business Development Center, Micro Enterprise Loan Program, business plan classes, and consultation services, and speak with a second-generation family-owned tiled and design business by a business owner and his family who have been serving Maui's community for over 40 years. But first, I'd like to welcome Senate President Ron Kochi. On September 7th of 2010, Governor Linda Lingle appointed Ronald D. Kochi to complete the term of the vacant 8th senatorial district, formerly the 7th. Since then, Senate President Kochi has been elected to serve in his first term as the current Senate President, representing Kauai and Ni'ihau. Senate President Kochi secured his current position as President of the Hawaii State Senate on May 5th, 2015. In the past, Senate President Kochi served as Majority Caucus Leader, Vice Chair for the Committee on Tourism, and Vice Chair for the Committee on Ways and Means. He has also served as a member of the Committees on Agriculture, Education, Transportation, and Internal Affairs. Raised on Kauai's west side, Senate President Kochi graduated from Waimea High School in 1975, you can do the math, and attended Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. Senate President Kochi is married to the former Joy Tanimoto, and they have two sons, Dan and Egan. Good morning, Senate President Kochi. How are you this morning?
Awake, Pam.
So glad to have you on.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here, especially because on Maui County you have such a great delegation at the Hawaii State Senate. I have enjoyed working with Senator English when he was a staffer, when we were both serving as council members, and then certainly lobbying him as a council member when he was in the Hawaii State Senate, and ultimately becoming colleagues, and enjoy a long working relationship with Senators Baker, Keith Agaran, and then I have enjoyed working with former Representative and now Senator DeCoit. And so, to be able to talk to some of their constituents and let them know what a great job their delegation is doing representing them is
Thank you
pleasure.
So much for sharing that, because we are very blessed, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. And you've also been a tremendous partner with the Chambers of Commerce across the state as well, and gone to Hawaii on the Hill, and was one of the first, or actually the first legislator to attend Hawaii on the Hill, and I think you might be the only one to have attended every event.
Yes.
For those who don't know, Hawaii on the Hill is an event that is put on by the Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii with all partnering chambers, and Senator Mazie Hirono, it was sort of her brainstorming idea, and we go to the nation's capital each year. Unfortunately, not last year and not this year because of COVID, but hopefully live in person again next year.
Well, but I saw the box checked by your name, Pam, so later today and on Friday, they will have a virtual Hawaii on the Hill, and among the featured speakers today is Majority Leader of the U.S. Senate, Chuck Schumer of New York.
Yes, and Senator Schumer has participated every year as well.
Yeah, it's always highly touted by Senator Hirono about his love of Spam musubi.
Yes. And when we're live, we always make sure that he gets some. That's true. Well, I'm looking forward to today's session. It's going to be wonderful, and we're all readjusting to COVID, and so and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But let's talk a little bit first about economic drivers. And we saw, of course, on your island, in Kauai, and here on Maui County, and across the state. But in some of our islands, we're very dependent on our visitor industry, and it was very clear we needed to look at economic expansion. And I'm just wondering, for you, what are some of the key economic drivers that we can expand upon or attract to the state to help benefit all of our islands in Hawaii?
Well, first of all, with Congress finally passing the infrastructure bill, that is going to create tremendous opportunity for investment. I know in talking to Senator English in particular, the safety concerns about the bridges along the Hana Highway.
Yeah. For
us on Kauai, on the North Shore of Kauai and Upper Kapa'a, we have bridges. So there are bridges like that across the state, and we are going to create safer driving conditions for residents and guests. Having that construction investment is going to be important. The broadband, at least $100 million will be coming in. So we have a tremendous opportunity to upgrade and create a place that would foster much better telemedicine, which has made maybe 4 or 5 years worth of advancements in the first 6 months of the pandemic for the digital platforms that not just our K through 12 students are utilizing, but it's certainly opening up other opportunities for higher education and continuing education for those who are in the workforce and realize now that they would like to get better educational opportunities. And so that's really going to be important. There's been a concerted effort to try and attract people to Hawaii who would be able to do their work remotely and have them spend their money here in our local economy. And so that is another area that we've been working on. One of the areas that I've been involved with for going on 4 years now is Farm to State. Initially, we had passed a bill, Farm to School, but we realized that we control state hospitals as well as the state prisons. And if we started purchasing more local food, then we could, start trying to achieve the goals of doubling food production here in Hawaii.
I absolutely love that.
And now that the Department of Ed is back to in-person instruction, they serve about 100,000 meals a day. And so I call them the largest restaurant in Hawaii. The person who did the Farm to School pilot in Kohala and Mililani was assisting the Kona State Hospital. I got him to work with the 2 state hospitals on Kauai, and currently over 60% of the food on the plates at the Kauai hospitals are locally sourced. All 15 schools on Kauai, K through 12, public schools, were approved to start Farm to State in January of 2020. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, we went to grab and go in a different kind of meal. But all 15 cafeteria managers, the principals, and the complex area superintendent support it. And so we are diligently working and creating distribution networks, as well as having outreach to small local farmers to start supplying the food for our hospitals, schools, and prisons, which will allow them to ramp up and serve the larger community.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a brilliant program, and I'm glad that you expanded it. If I may, while that's being built out, another add-on that we could look at is also including the value-added manufacturers who have food products, as they're also supporting our different farmers. And, of course, we do, and unfortunately, we're having to reschedule. We had a huge server crash on the mainland that took down our virtual annual Made in Maui County Festival. But we're rescheduling for December 4th. But a lot of our local manufacturers are buying, that do food products, are buying, of course, their ingredients from our farmers, and they too have some amazing products that could be leveraged at the schools and the hospitals and the prisons.
Well, and not just that, but when you talk about your Made in Maui online fair, really what we've learned through the pandemic, kind of switching or, where one answer goes into several of your questions. There's a granola that is made on the North Shore of Kauai, not Anahola granola, which is in Costco, but from Kunana Farms. And my wife would purchase that at the farmer's market at Kauai Community College on Saturday. Our friends on Oahu like that as an omiyage. And in the pandemic, they went to online, and they have tremendously increased their sales. And they're not at the farmer's market now because they have gotten their brand well known from Hawaii on the Hill, Salty Wahine, which has flavored salts for cooking, grilling, etc. They've expanded through their online sales presence. And so, with the upgrading of our broadband infrastructure and the ability to reach so many customers around the world through online sales, it creates a great opportunity for the value-added products that are being made. And then we need to be sure that the county and state laws now are in sync to allow, those who are producing, whether it's honey and cacao and chocolate and a variety of products, that they're able to do it. We used to discourage retailing off of the ag land because we didn't want supermarkets and development popping up in the ag district. But now we find with all of the value-added products that we should be encouraging this so that the farmer can keep the money in their pocket and not have to pay a middle individual.
Absolutely. And it turns out as well that, when you look at farming and homesteading for generations, they're also great value-added manufacturers as well. And sometimes they just need, they've been doing some things for years in-house, making jams and jellies for their friends and family, and now there's new avenues for them to also market. And the farm tours are helping as well to sustain our local farms, which is really awesome.
And then Senator De La Cruz has had the Ways and Means Committee out to Kauai, to Maui, to the Big Island. They've been touring areas on Oahu. I know House Finance has been going out, but Senator De La Cruz has been very clear in every island that he's been visiting. How do we work with K-12, the community colleges, to create educational pathways that lead to jobs? He doesn't want to just have people taking majors because it sounded like an interesting course to study, but he wants to know that there's some kind of certificate you can get at the end of your educational process that would create a job placement because you've learned a skill that is in demand. And certainly upcoming in the next session, it's really how do we try to ensure that we've got enough workers to be able to facilitate the businesses. And it's been a big problem throughout the country in trying to recruit and get workers to, have your business come back.
Yes, absolutely. And we're here we and all of the chambers across the state are here to work with our legislators and certainly Senator De La Cruz. I had a chance to meet with him when he was here on Maui briefly, but be part of a session with him. And we totally appreciate that because, bringing in the business sector to talk about the jobs and where they see growth areas and opportunities is so important in that. And that kind of takes us to the legislative session and some of the upcoming priorities that you see this session.
Well, first and foremost is healthy outcomes. So healthy outcomes would be making sure that those who are choosing to take the vaccination are able to get it, that we're getting people the accurate information in allowing them to make an informed choice about what is right for them and what is right for their bodies or their children in the case of minor children. And also that we have the kind of hospital capacity and the supplies necessary to service patients that are coming in. And, this is critically important, not just as we deal with COVID patients, but for an extended period, all elective surgeries were canceled, and so there are certainly other procedures that people need to have to live healthier, longer lives, and we want to be sure that we're able to do that. At the same time, budget stabilization is critically important. We went from the lowest unemployment rate in the nation to the highest. Nevada and Hawaii have the largest service economies in the nation, and Nevada was able to overcome some of their obstacles because people could drive into Nevada and do what visitors do, spend money. But with our ability to close the airport and have restrictions for healthy outcomes, it certainly had an adverse economic impact, for our state budget. And so how do we find the balance of restoring economy, stabilizing the budget, while ensuring the healthy outcomes? Clearly in education, pre-K, K through 12, higher ed, but in particular the K through 12, the numbers just came out 2 weeks ago, and there was significant learning loss. And how are we going to improve our public school educational delivery system to try and make up for this learning loss is critically important. Affordable housing continues to be at the top of the list, and if we're going to address some of the homelessness issues, we need to have permanent affordable housing that they can go to after they're in a transitional setting. They can't stay in a transitional setting forever. And along with that is certainly increased support in mental health services. That has a significant impact on homelessness, but also in just the isolation of COVID and, the stress that everybody has been put through, to have the mental health services available for people who need it are going to be important on the social side, but also with potential revenue impact. I'm sure they will be discussing the legalization of marijuana again, as well as gaming, and in particular with the latest federal court ruling on sports gaming. More and more areas are now offering sports gaming. Is that right for Hawaii or not? I'm sure we're going to have a conversation on that. And then, when I agreed to come on, Pam, I try to be honest, direct in answering the questions that are put out. And I can tell you a significant majority of the Senate is in support of raising the minimum wage, which is, of course, a concern to your organization. But at this point in the conversations, I'm hearing a lot of consideration for the tip credit, which wasn't part of the conversation 5 years ago. So those are three other items that I see that are probably going to be widely discussed that currently aren't in place, but we'll see what happens during the session and what the testimony bears out.
Well, and we really appreciate that, and of course we appreciate your great partnership, and I think again as I think some of it with the, as you point out, with the minimum wage, it's looking at things like the tip credit. It's working with the business community. Sometimes some of the proposals are extremely high, and we realize the significant impact on small businesses. But with the rising costs and the living wage and the challenges we're all facing, I think again this is a good time to have that discussion again. And I think one of the things that we've always said is when it comes to the living wage, and that's something that's constantly brought up, a lot of the costs that we bear in the living wage are things that are also, many of those are under government's control. And so we always want to educate as well on what are some of the levers that raise the minimum, that raise the cost of living in Hawaii, and that drive us to try and achieve a living wage. How do we look at things more holistically? Because we want our workers to have a living wage. And again, as you point out, housing, I'm so glad to hear about housing and the health outcomes, because all of those are things as well that contribute, as well as our
and I think a significant item would be childcare. So
Yes,
if
and good
we're
point.
able to achieve the universal pre-K, well, our main goal is to get better educational outcomes, and the statistics are very clear about the success level of those who are in pre-K versus those who are not. It also winds up addressing for many healthcare issue that would be very expensive
Right.
otherwise. And so it's one of those things. Do we maybe tamp down the minimum wage increase, but have an earned income tax credit? So we're ensuring that we're getting the money into the families that we would like to help the most. We do have leftover money from the federal rent program. I know specifically for the island of Kauai, they have $22 million that those who are impacted by COVID can get assistance through September of 22 or until the money runs out, and that money is available on each of the other islands. And it's not only if you're currently out of work or impacted. If you were impacted and you are now back to work, the Kauai rules still allow you to apply because they realize that you did have times where you were struggling to be able to pay your rent. But all of these things help landlords too to make sure that they are continuing to pay their mortgages, pay their real property taxes, and create housing opportunities for people who want to stay here and work.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. We want to keep our locals who want to stay here and bring their children back. We want to make sure that we have those tremendous opportunities. I know we're running out of time, but I have one quick question, and then I wanted to kind of quickly ask you about most valuable lessons. As we're looking at, the health outcomes, is this a time for us to revisit the certificate of need process so that we can expand and look at different, new hospitals and expanded systems?
Yes, and I think Senator Keo'o Kalole, the health chair, and in the Senate and House health chair Yamane have been having discussions. We had a bill going through last year that looked at how we may reassess or realign. It wound up not moving at the end, but certainly there's going to be a robust conversation in the health field.
Awesome. And then what do you think are some of the most valuable lessons that we learned during COVID that we can, take forward and improve on in the future?
Well, the first and foremost, being an island state, we learned about the vulnerability of our healthcare system and how each individual island could be impacted. At one point, Maui County was being overwhelmed and their healthcare system, Kauai was great. Then the Big Island had a surge, and they went through it. More recently, Kauai has now had the surge, and how do we get adequate help and the value of nurses and the shortage of nurses in the whole country, not to mention doctors, and then simply the importance of the frontline worker. The persons who have gone and run the cash registers at the grocery stores, are custodial services who are going in and cleaning all of these high contact, high touch areas, and how critically important each person is to the ability for each of us to go about living our daily lives in a safe way was certainly highlighted to me. And then the vulnerability of the supply chain, and it just showed how much dependence we have on China and other areas. When the meatpacking facilities had to close because of the COVID outbreak, I was building a new home and I needed to get garage doors, and there was an outbreak in that factory. They were shut down, and no garage doors were going out for over a month. And then you can't get your house built, then you're not completed. County real property tax can't fully assess the home because it hasn't reached the completion, and all of the effects of that supply chain, are amazing. And then most importantly for us here at the legislature, we've been trying for years to allow digital testimony so that neighbor islanders wouldn't incur the cost of the ticket and rent a car, hotel it sometimes. And, we have upgraded our technology to allow that participation to occur from the neighbor islands. And, we realized Leeward, Oahu, and other areas, it's difficult to get in here as well. So it's not just the neighbor islands, but I think we have now got something that is a lot more user-friendly for neighbor island residents and encourages their participation. And then we had adopted vote 100% vote by mail ahead of the pandemic, and it was great to see that our participation in the election increased tremendously. And our goal here is to make sure that if you want to vote, that you get the ability and the opportunity to cast your vote and elect the government that you want.
We so appreciate that, and we have been champions for trying to do something, virtual testimony for a long time, both on the county and the state level. So, that to us was one of the great outcomes. I wish we had more time because we could go on and on, but I will invite you back. We'd love to have you on the show again, and deeply appreciate you joining us today.
I will accept that threat in the manner in which it was delivered, Pam.
Well, you are always so awesome to speak to, and it's a pleasure. We know how many things that you're juggling right now, so we're honored to have you on, Senate President Kochi, and your door has always been open, and we really appreciate that, and we've appreciated the great partnership throughout the years with all of our chambers and your tremendous leadership. We really want to thank you for that, and we'll be here. Please count on us.
See you on the Hawaii on the Hills Zoom, Pam. Thanks.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Aloha. We're going to take a brief moment to hear from our sponsor, Mokulele Airlines.
Mokulele Airlines operates the largest commuter airline hub in the country, right here in Kahului. Fly Mokulele from Kahului to Molokai, Lanai, Hana, Waimea, Kona, and now Hilo. Mokulele also operates the only flights between Kapalua and Honolulu. There is never a middle seat on Mokulele, and every seat has a window and aisle. Visit mokuleleairlines.com and take your next flight from the newly renovated Mokulele Terminal.
And we're back. If you're just tuning in, this is the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters radio show. And right now we're going to welcome David Daly, BDC Director of Maui Economic Opportunity, Inc., MEO. David has over 25 years' experiences with small businesses on Maui. This experience includes small business ownership and management, business financing, business education, and entrepreneurial training focusing on small business startups. David's background includes residential lending and being a FINRA licensed financial advisor. Good morning, David. Great to have you on the show with us this morning.
Good morning, Pam. How are you?
I am wonderful. It's a gorgeous day here in Pukalani. How's it for you?
It looks like a beautiful day.
We got blue skies and sunshine up here this morning, but we've been grateful for the rain, too.
Yeah, well, I wish we had a little more of it, but hopefully coming up.
Yes, I think so, and hope so, too. Well, David, let's talk about all the things you're doing at the Business Development Center, which are many, and the business plan course and consultation services you offer.
So that's called the Core4 Program, and it's a business planning course, as you said, and it really, it's a 36-hour course that takes the student from sort of a concept or idea thought process through the process of actually writing a business plan for that idea, and it gives them everything in between, which links up, whether the business is viable, whether they can make money doing the business, and does a business have longevity? So those are really the three pillars that we focus on with the course, and it lets the student really understand and take ownership of what they want to do and seeing if they can do it.
Which is really awesome, and I understand you did something interesting. You now have a business plan contest.
Yeah, we did. We we were able to put together, with the help of Council Member Tasha Kama, an award, a monetary award for the best business plan for the July course. So we did our normal class, and we went through, and then we told all the students that there was a cash prize that was going to go towards their business, and actually it was more than one prize. We actually went down through the top 8 business plans. So
wow.
The competition really was the best business plan, but I wanted to spread out the award a little bit so that we weren't giving it all to one business, because there's usually so many good plans that are presented. So giving someone the opportunity to have a little seed money going towards their startup.
That is awesome. Well, who was the winner?
The winner was Londa Ampong, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Londa was from the west side in Lahaina, and her business was I guess you would call it a athletic leisure wear, but it's got a Christian theme to it. So very unique. But the plan itself was so well done and well thought out. And one of the main components that all the judges really liked is she did a really good job at market research. So she really dove in to see what the market had currently, and if her product was going to be able to fit within that market, which is a fairly large market if you're talking about leisure wear and athletic wear, and that's throughout the world. So she did market research to find that her product that there was a niche for it, and that it had the possibility to do very well. So that's always a good thing when someone's putting together a plan, is being able to find out, is the product needed and or wanted.
Absolutely. I used to laugh and talk to an HPU professor who had the same mindset as me long ago, but in the old days, many people started out writing a business plan very differently instead of focusing first on the market. And nowadays, everybody has been converting to say, first you have to have a market and find your fit within that market. So
exactly.
It's exciting to hear that she had that great research. And I love that you also talked about the longevity of the business that you focus on as well.
Yeah, we really, overall the business it's not a flash, we strive to not have it be a flash in the pan or something that's very short-lived that really doesn't have any longevity or existence to it. To be able to see, can this be reproduced and redone, and be able to have recurring customer base and be able to have this business grow. That's the overall goal of any business, no matter what industry you're in. But that's something that the course forces you to look at and be aware of, rather than jumping into something and go, it's a great idea and everyone wants it right now. But when you look further ahead and you look at what the industry is doing and certain dynamics, maybe you have a different view of that. That will allow you to shift and become a stronger business and a stronger product or service going forward. So that's all part of what goes on in the course. And I would love to say that we do that, but that's actually done by all the students when they're writing their plan.
No, it's amazing. And that's important, because a lot of people look to business coaches and want the help, and often they're hoping that you'll write the plan. But that isn't really very beneficial, because they need to know the plan inside and out, and they have the knowledge to write the best plan because they know their industry and their interest. following that, of course, once a business gets started, you also have a micro enterprise loan program. Tell us about what's available through that program.
Yeah, we do. And what that program allows us to do is it allows us to fund through micro loans, which are made anywhere from $1,000 to $25,000. If someone is going through the course, and obviously there's not a cash award that is available, and that was a one-time situation with that class, hoping we can do more. But normally when students go through the course and they get to the end and they have a plan, well, part of that plan actually explains what money they need to get this business off the ground and get it started. So our microloan program is really developed for startup businesses, and it was really designed for that because it's very hard to get money to start your business from a local bank if you're just starting out. So it's another tool that allows us to help entrepreneurs on the way up.
We are so excited that that is available to folks. How do people apply for that program?
Well, that program is available to both Core4 graduates as well as anyone who is just starting their business, whether they're in they haven't actually opened their doors or started yet, but they have a plan and they're looking to be able to fund this business and get it going. And as well as someone who's been in business for a couple of years and they now need some money that will allow their business to maybe take the next step, we'll service and allow both of those applicants to have availability of these funds. And they would just call us directly at our office at MEO, and it's the Business Development Center within MEO, and that's the program name. And I thank you in the beginning, but I'm actually not the director of MEO. I'm the director of Business Development Center, which is within MEO. So, yeah,
Debbie. Yes, Debbie has.
That's okay.
Debbie Kabibi has
MEO. Correct.
Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that because I appreciate the correction instead of leaving that inaccurate. So, David, give us your phone number and tell us how people can learn about MEO's Business Development Center, on the classes you hold, and the micro enterprise loan programs.
Sure. So information is available on our website, which is www.meoinc.org. So that's meoinc.org. And if you go up to, if you're on that home page and you go to programs and services, you'll see Business Development Center. It'll take you right to the Core4 tab where they can sign up online for the classes, as well as see the dates of all the upcoming classes in 2022. And if they want to call in, it's 249-2990. So that's the main line in the MEO, and then they'll be routed to our department. That's 249-2990.
Well, we are so excited, David, with all the things that you're doing and the tremendous help. And I love that you were able to do this contest, and because I think sometimes, even though what you do and the miracles that you're creating and working with businesses who are starting, or entrepreneurs who are starting these small businesses, as well as helping businesses who've been in business grow and expand, it's nice when you have an opportunity, like through an award program, to go out and recognize what's been occurring and to honor somebody who's done a tremendous job, because as you've shared today, we can all learn from those successes.
Definitely. And one thing that was really very, very important is that through our relationship with the County of Maui, which gives us quite a bit of funding through the Office of Economic Development, the partnership that the county has shown with the Core4 program to help residents of Maui be able to take an idea and build a business out of it, that has really something that's made me very proud that they were able and wanted to step up, and especially thanks to Councilmember Tasha Kama, because it was her district funding that allowed this to happen. So hopefully it'll happen again in the future, but we just keep doing what we do and trying to help people starting and people who are in business.
I think you're doing an awesome job. We always appreciate our opportunity to work with you, David, and thank you so much. I'm glad to have you on the show today. It's been a great pleasure.
Well, thank you, Pam. It's nice to be able to spread the word, and thank you and the Chamber for all you do in helping small businesses, because we have a very unique team here on Maui with the partnerships that business development has that really is unique to our county. So we should be real proud of that.
Yes, we do. For those who don't know, many of the different programs, David's program, the Chamber, MEDB, the Small Business Development Center, Lokahi Pacific, the County of Maui participates, and others. That we have folks from ag and various industries, but we have the business development team that come together, and we meet monthly to share ideas and talk about our programs and look at interrelationships. So it's a really wonderful thing, and of late the Chamber team, Amber Kutsos, has been representing us on that, but we're very blessed because it is unique, and other counties don't have that, and a lot of people comment on how exciting it is to see the interrelationships we have.
Definitely. So I appreciate you letting us speak about our program, and look forward to doing it again soon.
Well, we'll have you back on again. We'd love to. Thank you so much, David. You have a wonderful day.
Okay, Pam. Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Aloha. I'd like to just take a quick moment before we have our next guest on to talk about two quick things. One is just to let everybody know, for those who were trying to shop in the 8th Annual Made in Maui County Festival on the big festival day, November 6th, when servers crashed on the mainland and the festival shopping was down, we were all devastated. But we have surveyed our vendors, and we thankfully, through Mayor Victorino and Carla Peters working with the Parks Department, we are coming back, and we're coming back with a hybrid event. We're going to have both a virtual and live component on December 4th, Saturday, December 4th. This is just hot off the presses. Our event was approved yesterday afternoon, so we're working on details that we'll share with you shortly, but wanted you to know about that. And if you're a returning listener, you'll know about this program, but if you're new, we are seeking old laptops, computers, iPads, and other technology for a program by the Broadband Hui. Senator Kochi was talking about this new, in the infrastructure bill, the broadband access, but we have people that are upgrading their digital skills, and there's other people seniors who need connectivity equipment and learning digital skills to learn how to connect with family and friends, or need medical monitoring. And some of these folks don't have access to computers. So while they're going through digital literacy classes, one of the things the program tries to do is take donated equipment, completely refurbish it, and then give it as a gift for free to those in need. So if you have old computers, please call the Chamber office, 244-0081. Many of us have it sitting in our closets at the back room of the office. It will be scratched, so all memory will be erased, and it can be refurbished. So please don't hesitate to give us a call. Think of it as a fall cleaning, and gain some additional space and do good things in the community. Okay, that was my quick pitches, and now I'd like to just share with everybody and welcome owner of Ceramic Tile Plus and Exclusively Yours Design, Jim Duran. Jim is the second generation to be operating this family-owned business. It started as a small shop with just 2 employees selling building materials to Maui contractors. Now, over 40-plus years later, the company grew to be one of Hawaii's leading suppliers of tile, tile, stone fabrication, and cabinetry. A huge supporter of the Maui community and longstanding chamber member, they have consistently given back to numerous youth programs, fundraisers, and nonprofit organizations. Aloha and good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Pam. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Oh, good. Thank you.
You know, I love your showroom. Let's talk about Ceramic Tile Plus and exclusively yours design. How did the business actually get started? And, you know, as you've been involved in this family business, what inspired you to stay in this trade?
You know, my father moved the business from the mainland back in 1977, so we've been here about 44 years now. And it's been it was his life's work, really. Our goal as a second generation is really keep his legacy moving forward. He passed away in 2017, and had quite a spring before that. As you'll recall, he got the Chamber Lifetime Achievement Award that spring, and we were first year that we were named the best place to work in Hawaii by Hawaii Business Magazine. He had a really wonderful spring. He got honored before he had passed away, so that was really nice. So one of the things he always said is that our business was really a family business. That means that everyone who works here is a part of our extended family, and that's a real priority for all of us. All of our employees, all of our 36 employees, get the same benefits that we do. Everyone, we work hard to make sure everyone treats each other with dignity and respect. That's part of my father's legacy. So, we're inspired by him and by the way he led this organization for 44 years. And it's really important to our family. We have two of us who work in the business now, my sister Ellie and myself. And again, we have 34 other employees who work with us. We moved here. As we've been talking about, we're second generation, and our goal is to have it continue this to our third and fourth generations. We're doing a lot of succession planning now, which is really important. It's family businesses, as all family business owners know. So that's taking up a lot of our time with some consultants to help us do that. But again, it's a real priority for us.
Well, I think that's amazing, and of course your father left a great legacy, and we were so glad he had some health issues just before the awards ceremony.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But he was able to come.
Yep. He worked more lays that spring than he had ever.
I know, it really was what a blessing. I mean, to have toward the end of his life such a culmination of all of his work and to be recognized for that. And your dad was such a joy to be around and so inspiring. And I love that he not only has inspired you and your sister Ellie to be part of this and to create a family environment there, but now you folks are carrying that legacy forward. And so I'm so excited to hear that. You folks have so many amazing products and services. Talk a little bit about those for us.
Sure. We have the largest selection of in-stock tile and stone, and certainly the largest selection of slab material here on the island. It's a real priority for us to bring to our Maui community things that they can't find elsewhere. We search and work with lots of companies all over the mainland and all around the world, really, to bring product here to Maui that it will also inspire our customers to enjoy and build the quality of their homes and remodels and that kind of thing. We do have, like I said, the largest selection of tile and stone for flooring and showers and indoor and outdoor use on the island. We have 90 colors of granite, quartzite, and quartz slab material here in our yard here in Kahului. It's lots of glass tile. One of the new product lines we carry is luxury vinyl plank. It's a vinyl plank material that looks like wood. It's taking over about 20% of the flooring market across the country, and it's amazing quality, waterproof, super durable. So we stock about 30 or 40,000 square feet of that at any given time. We also do our in-stock cabinet line, which is you can literally design your kitchen with our designers and take your product home that day and assemble it, or you can have us assemble it and deliver it to you. And we also do lots of special order custom cabinetry as well. And those are gives us lots of options, lots of different species, all the colors you can imagine, all the stains you can imagine, all the kind of inserts and mechanisms, you can imagine that really opens up a whole new world when you are able to have the time to order something custom like that. So we do a lot of that work as well.
And you have an amazing machine that cuts through all of that phenomenal stone.
Yeah, we really do.
You've got, you're doing some interesting manufacturing there with that amazing machine to make sure that you've got those perfect and custom cuts, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
So as we're going in, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying we kind of gutted and rebuilt our fabrication facility a few years ago, and actually I think we had just finished it when we hosted one of the chamber events here at the store. And we installed what's called a Baca Robo Saw Jet. It's a mix of a wet saw, and a water jet. It's the same basic machine that's in all the Tesla factories, and then they customize the tool that works with it. But the base of it is called a kuka, and the kuka is again used all across lots of industries, especially Tesla and some plants like that. And so we really pride ourselves on being kind of high touch and high tech. So high touch meaning we spend a lot of time with our customers and our clients, making sure we meet their needs and exceed their needs. And the high tech, meaning we have the most technologically advanced equipment certainly in Hawaii to fabricate our countertops and showers and things like that for our clients.
You really do. It's amazing to see, and so is the showroom. Tell everybody about where you're located and how people can find you on social media.
Sure. About 11 years ago, we purchased the old Cutter car lot right across from the Queen Kahumanu Center, and we renovated that facility. So we've been here and expanded actually for another 10,000 square foot on the building a couple 3 years ago. So we have a big footprint, one of the most trafficked intersections on the island. Big parking lot, lots of room to come visit. We're certainly on Facebook, Ceramic Tile Plus. We're on the web, www.ceramictileplus.com. Our Instagram is Ceramic Tile Maui. So reach out to us. We'd love to work with you. We can make appointments if people want to make an appointment, or they can certainly come in and visit us anytime. We do honor social distancing. We're masking. Almost every one of our employees has been vaccinated. We sanitize every couple of hours, and we're happy to make sure we keep our customers safe. We actually also installed a state-of-the-art air purification system here in the showroom.
That is so amazing, Jim. I think we're about to run out of time, but I just want to thank you so much for joining us on the show today. The music is about to start. I'm getting flagged, but really appreciate having you on the show. Make sure that you visit Ceramic Tile Plus and Exclusively Yours Design. They're easy to find right across from Queen Kahumanu Center. That's all the time we have for today's Business Matters radio show, sponsored by Mokulele Airlines. I'm Pamela Tumpot, President of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, wishing you blessings and best wishes for a beautiful Maui day. Aloha.